Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of More Money. We have Vicki Pace today. I'm so excited. There's so much to celebrate and so much to talk to in I just looked it up, just your 67 days in the Enchanted Circle.
My goodness.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh.
So fun. So I'm going to start with tell me something awesome.
My life shift is happening, started happening on Monday officially, and it is going great. It's going fantastic. And one thing you taught me leading with the awesome, hey, tell me your name and something awesome about yourself is
Yes.
I just started teaching this camp and I had all the kids lead with, tell me your name, your age, and what's awesome about you. And it was fun to guide them through no, that's just something that you own. That's awesome. What's awesome about you specifically. And that was cool to see that sort of process happen in their heads.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yay. Cool. I love it. So I don't know if we talked about this last time about this life transition. So define it a little bit more for.
So what I'm transitioning to now is becoming a full-time actor. And I love working with kids, so I like that sometimes, but not my full-time job.
Yeah.
So that's happening now. I'm finishing off my full-time job as a nanny, in the next 3 weeks, sort of phasing out. And in the fall, I start a full-time theater acting job in August. I guess it's not really fall, so this summer in 7 weeks or something like that. It's amazing.
It is amazing, and I want to talk about that role. But first,
Yeah.
I want to talk about because it was kind of a leap to leave your job, and there was I remember a coaching call was like, "What am I going to do? Nothing's here. What am I going to do?" Right?
Yeah. Well, and I just did that again yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get through it quicker?
Yes, I did. I was offered through email that night and I felt through that. And then in the building, she and I crossed paths and the words just came out of my mouth without even thinking about it. And I didn't have to make up an excuse. I just turned down the job and said, I have a lot of shows in that slot. I won't even have time to be teaching. So. And she kind of it clicked with her too. She was like, oh yeah, you have that role in that theater. Yeah, you're not going to have time. Yes.
Yes. I love that. So I want to walk it through. So,
yeah. I
mean, it was a month, 6 weeks ago, and you were talking about, I want to get, I'm going to quit nannying and really step into theater. Right. And it was, and you would put in your notice or you were going to put in your notice, but there was this thing about, is anything going to show up? And we kind of worked through that. Right.
Yeah. God, I that's it's so remote.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. Cool. So that's how, so we worked through some stuff about trusting the process and trusting this. And then this job showed up. And I love, that you brought up now what you just did last night was somebody offered you another job teaching, right? And you're like, no, I'm a full-time actress. I'm not going to act or I'm not going to have time to do that.
Yeah. That felt like my old story of the hustle of getting clutching onto any work that was possibly offered to me. Yeah. And that goes back to, I was offered or I even accepted a couple small gigs in my, my old story was got to pay those bills, but that's not my new story, my current story.
Yes. So talk about that shift. What is the current story? The one that allowed you to let go of those other side jobs, the one that's allowed you to say, turn down this job because it's no, I'm full-time in acting.
I don't know if I have words for it yet. My new story, I can't, some people are oh, my new story is this. I don't really, it's a feeling of sort of just ease and confidence right now. And it's not that, it is kind of that money just shows up, but it's more than that. In my realm of acting and performing, it's also that roles just show up too for me, and it's consistent and with perfect timing in that I always have the amount of time off that I want.
Love it.
Yeah. So I don't really have exact words yet for it.
Yeah,
but
it's coming. It's being written, right? The title
Yes.
isn't there, but like these are the things, these are the chapters. This is what goes on, the themes. I love it. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everything works out for you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so we just celebrated this a week or so ago in the Enchanted Circle, which is about 60 days in.
Yeah.
And you crossed the $10,000 line.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Surreal. And truly the work we did, I decided my sort of money feeling was elation, and it's exactly what it is. And it still is when I really think about, and I haven't sat down to finish calculating the other little things that I've added in, but I think I'm into like 1150, like $11,500-ish now. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It's so exciting. And I will say, like, it's not like you just showed up and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, and the money showed up. Like, you've put in the work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can definitely tell when I'm actively every day getting those assignments done and being conscious of, it's like you always say, it's not the 1 hour of work, it's the rest of the time. And that's what that really clicked for me, was in that it is a life shift, but it's not overwhelming. It's really what I'm getting at. It's manageable and manageable in that you can do those tiny little shifts every single sentence as you go through your day.
Mm-hmm.
That's helpful.
I love that. So cool. Let's talk about other exciting news. You just landed a new big role.
Yeah. So the one that starts this August, I mentioned earlier, is with a full-time theater in the Denver area. I'm talking like 9 to 5 rehearsals, Monday through Friday kind of thing. Plus, I think the total of performances, 51 performances over 3 months or 2.5 months, whatever that adds up to be. And it's technically a kid's show. It's not written, it's like a Disney-esque show, so that it's sort of for kids and everybody, but it's with a big potential of more shows added in. So probably more like 60 performances. So I think with rehearsals, it'll be about a 4-month contract, and that's really, really great.
Yeah.
It's really, really great.
How does it? Yeah.
And that it's the lead. and I'm understudying the other main lead too. So yeah. And I've never worked for them before. Like I could just list all of these things. Like my old story would have said, oh, you're probably not going to get this. But my new story is like, no, I'm just going in, showing my best, and they're going to love me.
Yes. And that's exactly what happened, right?
It is. Yeah. And I had a lot of feelings throughout and after and during, and I felt through them, and now I'm here.
I know. Now you have the role. And
now I have the roles.
4 months and you're so busy because this role is like going to lead into other roles, right? There's other people that have seen you in this, that's going to happen, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This theater is the sort of a stepping stone for those next big steps. So that just makes this huge for me. It's no longer like community theater. Not that I've been doing community theater, but it's no longer regional. It's more professional.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
I know. What do you think is one of the biggest factors that like played into you being able to show up as the person who could get this role and receive the role and receive the compliments?
Allowing, it's honestly just saying thank you when someone compliments you or gives you something nice is not adding in, not qualifying anything, just thank you and move on. And the changing your money story, that was pretty big for me in that starving your old story. That whole process was revolutionary for me because it's applicable to so many other stories in your life.
Right.
So with the theater audition world, there are a lot of stories out there, and I've been molding my own from that. And I think that helped a lot, was stopping old stories, just cutting them off and leaving it open for something better to fill it up with. So that and feeling my feelings have been pivotal for me in, I think, allowing, because I feel and then move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say more about that, because I know you wanted to say, like, it's the biggest difference is how you feel. Like feel the feelings, not necessarily like feel like obviously you feel better and things like
Right.
that, but it's really about how you feel everything is what.
Yeah, I feel differently, and it's not that I do feel differently, but the way I feel is different, and how I move through those feelings is different. So when I get sad now, I let myself be sad and I don't label it anymore. Sometimes I will notice what triggers it, but I try not to let the trigger become why I'm sad and let that spiral out of control. Just cry and let myself be intensely sad. And it's funny. I think I get more intensely sad now, but it's shorter.
Yes.
Like I just am really, really sad and really, it feels awful and uncomfortable. And then I'm better. And it's so weird. I can just like go about my day like everything is great and fine and dandy, like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think back on it and worry about it and analyze it. That was then and that happened, and I'm moving forward. And honestly, most of the time when I have those big sad moments, something big happens that's great afterwards. like
Yes.
this role. I was upset, or I was sad for probably a week waiting to hear back from this casting director.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally was through the sadness, I think it was off investing in myself. I was sitting in the pedicure chair and I got the phone call.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was, I mean, it's new for you to feel into that and not explain it. Do you want to say a little bit more about that? And like,
yeah, that was part of my old LOA work, but also before LOA, I'd been with a therapist for a couple years, and that's something you do, or with my therapist at least, was really talk about why and how you're feeling and where it came from and really getting into it. And I think that was super helpful at the time. I'm so grateful I had all that. And now I'm letting it go because it just feels so much better. And I think it's way more productive at my point in life to just feel the feelings and move past it and not overanalyze it and think about, I don't know, something really therapist-y. I just feel it and let myself feel it and don't judge it. I think that's really it, is I don't judge it anymore.
mm-hmm. That's amazing, because it's been amazing to watch you go through that process, right? Where it's like, it's about this, and I'm like, what if it just is, right?
Yeah.
And so like watching you take that feedback has been amazing to really like allow yourself to move and to grow into the space. Has been really cool.
Yeah. And I think most of the time when you're like, what if it's this or this, usually once I get through it and look back, it's, yeah, you're right.
You can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And I think a lot of that, we talked a little bit about this, but I think it was a lot about grieving your old self, which is something that people don't realize happens. And so we would say a little bit about that.
Yeah. And the way I equate grieving your old self is, I think it's sometimes it's just scary opening up so much space in your life for the unknown. And the unknown, I know, is going to be amazing and wonderful and beautiful and amazing, but it's the unknown. And I think your instinct is to fear the unknown. And fear, I think, for me, turns into sadness and scarediness. And that's when I get sad and cry a lot, because I'm opening up a lot. Like, for example, when I just turned down this most recent teaching job, I cried a lot. Like weeping, wailing, crying in my car's steering wheel, like crying, like the not cute crying.
Yes.
I was doing that. And I knew And I went to bed sad and it was fine, and woke up and it just was like a switch flipped. It was so weird. And a couple hours later I told her no. And I was like, oh, I think that's why I was sad, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right? It's opening up that space.
It's opening up the space. So I think that's, for me, it seems to be that's what triggers those big sad moments is opening up space like that.
I like that. And and that's all part of growth, right? Because when you're stopping those old stories, you have to leave that space for something new, right?
Yeah.
I love it. So I know one of the big things that you have done, and I love this, one of the assignments I suggest, looking at where you're investing your money, because if you've listened to the show very long, I don't use the word spend, where you're investing your money. And so tell us about the shifts that you've made in that and what a difference that's made.
The term investing helps a lot. And I'm not in the financial world, so I had to Google ROI.
Awesome. I'm glad you did. I love it.
But just the term investment, even though I'm not in the financial world, I understood it has a better feeling than spend. I think spend for my life had a lot of, anyways, investing.
Good job. Right. I know we didn't talk about what it had.
Investing is just so much better, especially when you're talking about yourself especially when you're talking about yourself. Investing in your happiness, that's usually what it comes down to for me, or investing in my groceries to feed my body, to survive.
Yeah, right.
That's really new to me. And an old story will creep up sometimes in line at the grocery store, looking at everything in your cart. But I just immediately stop it and say, I'm investing in myself, in my happiness, and my food. It's just like such a weight lifted from my shoulders. So, and I also change all of my, in my Google calendars, I have monthly reminders for bills that are about to come up, or the investments that I need to make every month. And, they used to be, the gas bill or such and such bill. Now I changed it all to gas investment, or, I can't think of any other ones, like rent investment. That I've just changed all the word. Anytime the word bill has come up, I've changed it to investment, and it just changes it for you. Every time I look at my calendar now, anytime that little green bar comes up, it says investments. It's almost like it's a happy feeling. Like, yeah great. I'm going to get more from, and it's true. My landlord's getting better, and I didn't even, it wasn't even something. It's not even something I've been thinking actively about, but we just looked at the backyard like, oh, all those sticks are gone. That's great. Oh, that bush is trimmed way down. That's fantastic. Things that I wasn't thinking consciously about. I just changed the phrase investment in my head.
Right. To make it,
to make it feel better. And I've also started, one of the things you suggest, and I don't even think it's an assignment that I think you just said, this is something I started doing. And it clicked with me that was something that I've always wanted to do, but never felt worthy enough of doing, which I do now, in that I've set aside 10% of my income to invest in myself. And it's been like, it's almost a fine line, but you really just feel what is appropriate in the moment. Is this an investment in my happiness, or is this an investment in something I need? Groceries, I've stopped considering that as an investment in myself, but my manicures and pedicures, that's absolutely for myself. Obviously groceries is for myself, but it's a different, it's a different feeling. So investing 10% is scary at first, but I think I've been doing it for a month now. And it's so spooky how I always have more than enough.
Yes.
Even though I'm spending more on myself, I still have more than enough in the account at all times, and more is showing up too that I haven't expected.
I love that. That's the same thing that happened to me when I consciously made that shift from denying myself like
Mm-hmm.
pedicures or a massage or whatever to investing consciously 10% of my income. Like I was like, I always have more money. This is so interesting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I think the conscious choice
Mm-hmm.
really makes a difference. And I think that just makes a huge difference. It's consciously spending more on myself, and it's in a different manner. And you and I have talked about this about, the treating yourself mentality
Yes.
versus investing in yourself. And I think I used to do treating myself a lot with food, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's investing in my happiness as opposed to treating yourself. I think for me, the phrase treating yourself has an old Band-Aid effect, Band-Aid
Yes.
on a snake bite kind of thing. And investing has an overall better feeling.
Yeah. Well, I think it's I want to highlight this for people listening is like, the treating yourself, it's like, oh, I don't know. It feels like cuz I'm just only worthy of this one treat or yeah, it's not, it doesn't imply that you're worthy all the time or you're worthy of making a conscious choice. It's like, oh, can I treat myself today to a mani-pedi? No, I'm going to make, right? It's like, can I? Versus when you make the decision to make that investment once a month or twice a month, it's like, this is a choice and I made it consciously and I'm choosing to invest that in me.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
choosing to invest in myself. And I feel like investing has a deeper feeling versus treating. It feels like more
Yes.
surfacey. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what is it just tell us how investing in yourself, you said it was scary at first. I love it.
Mhm.
And you kept doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so how'd you build up that trust? Did you just keep doing it?
I realized I had been doing it unconsciously for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I'd been
Yes.
getting, I think I was getting manicures every week, and I just was like, gosh, this just feels right to do this. And it always worked out perfectly. And then a couple times I just was like, oh, this is my old story would be creeping up at this point in the month. And I checked, I think actually it was one of your assignments was to go into your bank account and check things. And
Yeah.
it was brand new for me. And I had so much more than I was, what? It was amazing. And that just was the aha. And I think one of the next assignments was, you mentioned the 10%. And that's when I was like, I think I'm already doing this. So I'm going to consciously choose to do this. And the trust muscle is still there. It's still getting worked anytime I think about it. Like the mani-pedis are pretty second nature to me now.
Right.
The next part that's going to get easier is the buying of clothes
Yes.
for myself with my body getting thinner every day. I need some new summer clothes, so that'll be fun to do.
Yes. I love it. And so what do you think the biggest difference it's made in your life and how you feel about yourself that you are investing 10% of your money in you specifically?
It's the worthiness aspect for sure, that I'm worthy of and deserving, that I deserve to be happy and I deserve to feel taken care of and appreciated, even if it's just for myself. The worthiness and deserving is a big one.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most excited about? I mean, what are you like excited that we might be talking about next time or in the growth process going deeper in? What are you excited about?
I'm excited for more. It's still kind of open and wide open, but I'm excited for I just feel like something really amazing is happening this year for me, like this fall and this winter. It's just gonna get easier and better and nicer, and sweeter. I say nicer because the toddler I work with now, every time if he accomplishes something big, I say, how does it feel? He says, nice. It has a really cute connotation every time I say nice. It's just going to get nicer and sweeter, and and I'm growing through some things right now that I think is opening up different areas that I haven't been focusing on. So I'm excited for that. And I think people can see it in me. I think people are noticing a change, and it's affecting change in them as well.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think it affects change in other people? Because I think this is a question people have a lot. They get concerned. Like, if I grow, does everybody else like around me, like, do I have to give up my friends? Do I have to give up all this stuff? But talk a little bit about that. What do you think the change in yourself inspires in others?
I think the beingness attracts other people to attracts the change in them. I think the preaching sort of-ness that especially LOA can get into, I think that just turns people off. I mean, nobody likes to be talked at,
Right.
You want it to be an engaging a conversation. And I don't really converse with people about the growth I'm going through anymore. It just is. But I see, I get more people asking me, or I don't know. I think it's more people. I think as an actor, I'm trained to see people's thoughts. That sounds crazy, but you know what I mean? Like I'm a good people reader, and I can see when someone compliments me, it's a little surprise of, this is different for you, and this is new, and wow, yeah, this is your new path, and I'm excited for you. And I can see that a lot in people, especially people who are close to me in my life. I get that a lot. And it's nice knowing my family's on the East Coast and I'm more towards the West Coast, and it's fun that they can hear the change just in my voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Any other final thoughts you want to talk about this moment in your journey? I know we're going to have so many amazing things the next time we jump into an interview. I can't even wait, because it's so fast, right?
Yeah. I was thinking back, like, I don't even remember the last time we talked, what I was going through at the time. It's so nice, gosh, to not be constantly analyzing. It's just so nice to be present and looking forward to the future. And even though I don't know what it's going to be right now, it's, it's wonderful. And I think my trust muscle is feeling strong.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Fabulous. Well, I am super excited for you. Thank you for taking the time today. I'm looking forward to your next interview, because I'm sure it'll be an even bigger role that we'll be talking about, or something else amazing, right?
Yeah, me too.
So thank you for joining us today. Thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to catch Vicki's next interview next week.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.